July 20th, 2015. Today I'll give you a private garden tour of my yard. Over here is my old greenhouse, and I tried to feng shui the side of the greenhouse here. So with an old bamboo blind, and too bad I threw the other one out. It would have covered the other side. And then I used the walnut sticks to give it a feng shui look. And when the spotlights that are solar shine on it at night, it's actually not too bad. And then back there is the dog area, mostly under natural type of restoration. The birds ate all my cherries. I've got some more moss packs I got super cheap. And I like to put moss everywhere around the pond. And I love the new brown copper grasses that are out this year. They have different types. There's one over here, and it has a low growing habit. And when I got it, it was just a little twig. I've got another display over there, but with the portulaca, it really looks lovely by the new upper top pond. And I picked up these solar lights. I just have them here sunning right now, but they're super bright. And then I usually put them over there somewhere to shine at night, and I like to move them around and see where they look good. My husband's black mammoth tobacco, they're coming quite nice and starting to flower. I'm getting more shade now that the trees have filled out again and the leaves have come back. I noticed there for a while when it was like a plus 100 degrees and very hot and dry and tons of sun, then the pond one day was almost looking warm, the water, and murky. I don't know if it's because the koi were in there spawning in that little aquatic mint, which they probably were, but everything seems to have gone back to super clear. You can see to the very bottom. There's rocks at the very bottom, and that's 5 feet down. And there's some shiny pieces of colored glass that are round that I got from the dollar store. I mean, they're not like shards of glass. They're like nice, smooth, round glass. And so you can see the clarity of the pond. The new top pond has a good base of algae growing on some of the rocks, and to make the rocks look clean again for the show, I just simply turn the rocks, turn them the other way. But everybody loved the pond. Most frequently asked question for the pond show was, how do I keep my pond so clean? Who cleans it? And of course I don't clean it like in a traditional fashion. All I do is I scoop the waste out in the spring with a net and clean the filters. And I regularly add small amounts of fresh water in the summer, almost on a daily basis, just to keep the bottom pond topped up, and so that the skimmer's working properly. So I add probably to maybe this is 5,000 gallons now. I probably add maybe 50 gallons, 40 gallons a day on a hot day, maybe 30, just to keep the bottom pond topped up, because all 4 levels, all the upper ponds, the 3 levels, suffer the evaporation, and it's all shown in the bottom pond, of course. Although the plants now that are in the pond also take a big drink. And then there's some splashing involved with the extra water features like the spinning balls. But I just dribble the water in slowly. So maybe 20-30 gallons right now a day I add. And just slowly top it up to compensate for splashing, evaporation, and etc. There will be some evaporation and splashing as the water is churning and churning, but it's also cooling the ponds. Now, if you are way down south and your pond water starts to get dangerously warm, where it feels like a hot tub, if you have a smaller body of water, it heats faster, or if it's just been a super hot drought year, there's nothing wrong with putting ice in the pond. Make chunks of ice. If you have a smaller pond, use smaller little cups of ice and float them in the pond to chill it off. The worst thing for koi and goldfish is that they get too warm, they'll get sickly and diseased. If you have a larger pond like this size and you're having non-stop 100-degree heat, there's nothing wrong with taking the milk jugs and freezing them with water and then floating